Earlier this week, a terrifying blaze. Fire officers found e-bikes were stored here and are investigating whether that was the cause. And we have fresh evidence of a link between hundreds of fires across the country, findings which led to new warnings about one of the fastest growing transport trends. We started our investigation here earlier this summer, a high-rise block just metres from Grenfell Tower. 60 firefighters attended a terrifying 12th floor blaze here. The interior of the flat was completely destroyed. 6 people were rescued, and at the centre of all of that was an e-bike. Fire investigators say this devastation was caused by the catastrophic failure of the e-bike's battery. And this one brigade has seen more than 60 incidents this year alone with the same cause.
Firemen knocking on your door and everything, and of course I was terrified.
This resident thinks more precautions are now urgently needed.
It was one of these e-bike things that overheated where they've left it on overnight without keeping an eye on it. They're a brilliant idea, you know, stops the pollution and things like that. But it was very frightening, yeah, it was very frightening.
E-bikes like this have now joined e-scooters as the fastest selling sales surge in urban transport. Cleaner and cheaper than traditional vehicles, they run on rechargeable batteries.
So the batteries more often than not are lithium-ion batteries, very similar technology to you have in your smartphone.
E-bike and e-scooter batteries pack a lot of energy into a small space, but if they get damaged or charged incorrectly, the consequences can be dire.
If they get hot enough that they can light a carpet or a sofa that they're around, then the problems can be devastating.
How do you feel when you see the evidence of these devastating fires?
I think it's really important that we don't tar all e-bikes with the same brush. You have your good ones, which have been rigorously tested to stringent quality and safety standards, and you have your bad ones, which are made from poor quality materials and often untested.
New Freedom of Information findings for ITV News show an alarming rise in fires caused by e-bike and e-scooter batteries. 40 fires in 2020, more than doubled last year. And this year there have been over 200 incidents all over the country, meaning an increase of more than 400% in 2 years. This was caused by an e-bike battery which seemed to explode while receiving power. It led to a public warning about using incorrect chargers. This senior fire officer was at the scene of an e-bike blaze.
The fire started and developed very rapidly, which meant the level of damage was much more severe. Clearly there was a lot more smoke, which is always a worry because particularly with batteries there's toxicity of smoke and the risk to other people around.
People are using DIY kits to convert ordinary bikes into e-bikes. What kind of problems is that creating?
The majority of the fires we're seeing appear to be down to these conversion kits. Now, whether or not that's because they're not using the right charger or because they're not safe or not meeting the safety standards, it can be hard for us to say.
We've traced fires around the country. Though some e-bike conversion kits are safe, experts are warning of cheap imports that haven't been tested, and they stress that e-scooter and e-bike batteries should never be used when damaged and should only ever be powered with compatible chargers.
The ferociousness of that fire was incredible, and I'm so pleased that they managed to escape that building.
Campaigners want tougher regulation of e-scooter and e-bike design standards and more done to communicate the risks.
There's been enough fires and enough evidence to prove that we need to do more, and if we don't get that message out there with the clear guidance from the government, I'm afraid somebody's life will be lost.
Our findings show these new vehicles bring new convenience, but also the potential of new dangers.